Welcome to the Automation Unplugged podcast, the podcast for technology professionals, featuring leading industry personalities. I'm your host, Ron Callis.
Let's get started.
Hello there. Ron Callis with another episode of Automation Unplugged. And I'm excited to bring you a returning guest. And in this case, this guest was on just about a year ago, but we have a super good, I don't know if that's good English, a super good reason to bring him back on. And we're going to tell you all about it. But I'm bringing back Ryan Lee. Ryan Lee is the owner of Landscape Lighting Secrets. They are an education platform and community for those looking to grow their business in outdoor lighting. And he's also the host of the world-renowned podcast, which is Lighting for Profits. And I hope he loves that build-up. It's a great podcast. I'm a listener of Ryan's podcast. He brings on great guests, and he always has fun. And I always learn something when I listen to his show as well. So let me go ahead and bring him on. And let me do that now. Ryan, how's it going, sir?
What is up, Ron? Thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be back.
Yeah, man. We had you on show 261, and that was last March. So like we're almost at a year. We're actually like 10
Wow.
months, something like that, 10, 11 months. And it was to be exact, it was March 20th. So for folks that want to learn in typical Automation Unplugged format, like the deep story about your background, I'm going to recommend they go listen to that show, because today we're going to be talking about a couple of very specific topics. But just as a reminder for our guests, where you coming to us from, and I guess if you want to expound on your platform, Landscape Lighting Secrets, or your podcast, please do so.
Cool. Yeah, I love it. I can't believe it's been almost a year, because it feels just like a few months ago, actually.
It does.
But so yeah, Ryan Lee here. I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah. I had a landscape lighting business in Texas for 12 years, from 2007 to 2019. Sold that business, and then I was like, now what am I supposed to do with my life? It's not like I made like generational wealth. It was a good business. We were doing, a few $1 million a year, but I still had to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I had a lot of people asking me about, like, how did you do that? Like, surely you did something else. You didn't just do outdoor lighting. I'm like, no, that's all I knew how to do. I wanted to do home automation, but I wasn't smart enough, whatever it was. Right. And so I ended up starting this crazy company. I had this idea that I could help people, and it's Landscape Lighting Secrets. So yeah, now I get to tell people I help people make millions of dollars with outdoor lighting, and it's true, and it's awesome.
How's busyness been for you over the last year? How was 2024 for you, and your customers, or the folks that you work with?
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting year, because we're starting to kind of separate the pack a little bit. After the COVID years, everyone turned into a superhero. Like, I don't need help with business. I can sell anything. And we still actually grew that year as a community. But now we have a lot of people coming back and saying, you know what? I thought I knew a little bit more about business. I think I might need some help. I need some more leads. I need help closing deals. It's not the same economy that existed before. And so our business is up, and I see it gonna, in the future, continually gonna rise, because it's not just a matter of like me telling you, like, here's what's wrong with your business and what's wrong with you. Like, the reason I call it a community is because that's what it is. And I used to be this lone wolf. Like, I would never have listened to podcasts, I mean, and gone to events and stuff like that. I just thought, like, I've got so much pride, like, no one's ever done this, I'm gonna do this. And that sucks. Like, it's really hard
It sounds
to
very
be
lonely.
successful. Yeah. But now, man, it's so cool. Like, in our community, we have people that are brand new to landscape lighting, but they're bringing in so much energy and passion and fire and ideas that some of these old dogs just were like on their heels and didn't really need it. So it's not just me having to like provide information, it's us helping each other, and we can lean on each other when we have down times. And how's that guy having a record year in 2024 when this has been the hardest year I've had in a decade, right? And so some people are down in 2024, and I've got clients that they're having their best months ever.
I'm curious just in that dynamic of some businesses rocking it. In some cases, it's because of them, and in some cases, maybe it's geographically where they are in the country. Are there scenarios on your platform where that person is then interacting with that person that's struggling and they're able to dialogue or mastermind together? Are they what is it like for that, that person that's getting it done? We all know business goes up and down, so it doesn't mean it'll always be like that. But that person then interacting with the person that's struggling, do they talk directly or is it you or your coaches always as the intermediary? And I know I just used the dirty word coaches and you don't like that word, but you and your team, how does that work?
Yeah, I don't know what I mean. Coaching is a good thing. It's just as time has gone on, I think it's turning into more of a dirty word, like a used car salesman, you know. But no, coaching is great. Yes, that to answer your question, that happens all the time. And when I started, I had all this pressure of like, can I deliver? Like, can I? I know I did it for myself. Like I grew a business to multi-million dollars, but could I really help someone else? I don't have that pressure anymore because of what you just mentioned. And I thought everything was going to be like, if we facilitated a phone call and there was a Zoom call on sales, then that would be your chance to ask a question about sales. But every single week, I'll get on a call with someone or even in some of these group calls, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just got off the phone with so and so. Oh, I just got a phone." And they're exchanging numbers and they're helping each other even outside of our community.
Mm.
And it's in our community, but the formal
You
organized
don't have to
stuff.
be present for every conversation to be
Yes,
happening.
exactly. I'm like, "Oh, this feels so good." And a lot of my friends and family who don't know what I'm doing, they think they know what I'm doing, but they don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They're like, "Well, isn't that scary? Because now they don't need you." Like, they have each other's phone numbers. I'm like, "Okay, and then what?" Like,
Yeah.
that does not matter. Like, I don't even think about that because we
Yeah.
facilitate these conversations. We give them strategy, we give them other things. And so I love it. I freaking love it when I hear them saying, "Hey, I just got off the phone with so and so and I found out he was doing this type of marketing strategy or he was doing this. I'm going to start doing that." I'm like, "Dude, I kind of get the credit for that because I brought them together, but I wasn't smart enough to share those things. I didn't know. Like, he's the one with the active lighting business."
So I ran into you or you ran into me back in September of 23 at Cedia.
That's right.
And you were walking the show, and we went through a little bit of that in the show back in March last year. But you were really introduced to this idea of this obviously this big show with all these integrators and manufacturers. Um, and we talked about that and your vision. We've even had you on a few guest panels at different industry events, including Light Up Palooza last year, talking to integrators. So just bring it forward now that we're connecting. Almost a year and a half after you were kind of first introduced to the CEDIA community. How are you seeing the integrator, the technology contractor business interact with your community of landscape lighting professionals? Is it happening? Are there partnerships and collaborations happening? Is there still a lot of room for that to continue to happen further and for those different groups to help each other participate on projects together?
All right, so here's the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah, hit
The
me.
the the reason I went to Cedia was
Yeah.
because I was like, "Okay, how do I'm always trying to think of angles I can help my clients." So, I'm like, if I can partner with marketing people that will help them get leads for less or more effective or higher quality clients, all that stuff. But I went to Cedia at first because I was like, "Okay, how do I tap into this integration community, these integrators, and get them to refer my clients?" That was
Mhm.
like I just wanted them because my clients are really bad at like networking and they're afraid to go talk to people and they don't know how to build relationships. And I know that's the way to grow a business is through collaboration. And so I was like, well, if I can go there, maybe I can get in with some of these bigger firms and say, "Hey, I've got clients on standby. These are people that know how to do design. They know how to do installs. They will take care of your customer, give them the best warranty. And I just want you to refer them and they'll give you a piece of the pie. They'll give you 10% for doing nothing. I mean, just giving them a name and a phone number to your client." But when I got to Cedia, Like my mind was blown. I was like, wait, what is happening here? Like I didn't even know this industry was so big and massive. And I started to see kind of a bigger vision of opportunity for integrators. And I was like, wait a minute, like these guys are the pinnacle. They are at the pinnacle of opportunity for outdoor lighting. Like when someone has a relationship with an integrator, a homeowner, like they control everything. They control now the
I'm
shade.
not sure they all would agree, but they do have a lot. They might think the interior designer has all the control or the
Okay, that's
architect.
actually true. Yes, the interior designer, you like bow down,
Yeah,
But I guess
but
I
they
don't
have a
I
lot
don't
of control. Fair enough.
I'll say the technology control.
Yes,
The technology, they could hit a button and like disable someone's life.
they could, or from their phone.
Yeah.
What? You didn't pay your bill? Click.
Yes, that's what I mean. In terms of like manipulation and control, yes, interior designers, they win. We all have to bow down to them.
Yeah. So again, tell me that into that relationship. Where does it stand right now? Are you seeing those relationships form?
Yeah, so here's where we're at. So when I'm at that show, I'm thinking, okay, well, it's not just about them referring, like, why don't some of these integrators actually do the lighting? And here's kind of the short end of it. A lot of people have been afraid. A lot of integrators are like excited about it. They're like, no, I see the opportunity. I could see how I could go do a $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 landscape lighting project, but they're afraid of like design. They're
Mhm.
like, well, I mean, how do I figure out what lights to go where and who's going to install it? My guys don't want to trench, So there are some hurdles to overcome. And if that's the case, it's like, well, just re- reach out to me. I'll connect you with a pro in your area. You guys can collaborate. They'll do the design, they'll do the install, but you should pay attention and not just refer it off. Maybe you should kind of shadow them to learn it over 4, 5, 6 jobs. And then you can make that decision. Is this something that we want to go all in on? Do we want to do a whole lighting division? And I would say where we're at, Ron, is like, I would say we're like 1/10% of my goal. Like we've gotten very little traction because it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's easier to not start something new.
No,
It's
no,
just
that's
it's easier to just
there's
keep.
a lot of opportunity in front of us.
Yes, and, the difference, people see it as risk, they don't see it as opportunity. When we measure backwards 10 years from now, people are gonna go, "Oh my gosh, I took this opportunity, I ran with it, I made millions of dollars." Right now, it's like, "Well, if I do that, then I can't do something else," and it's still seen as a risk. Like you said, we've done some panels, we've done some stuff, and we do have some traction, but I know the potential, and we're not even close.
Well, that's marketing 101, right? It takes repetition.
Yeah.
So here we are, repeating maybe some of the themes or messages. And so I am coming back. You weren't able to make it this year, but I'm coming off of attending Lightapalooza. So I was there with my team. I'll put here on the screen. I know a lot of folks are listening to this through their podcast. But for those that are watching the screen, maybe on LinkedIn. So this is the Lightapalooza website. Again, we were just there. It was a great conference with education. It was over at it was January 20 through 23rd at the Hilton Anatoly in Dallas, and it was just awesome. One Firefly was proudly there. Amplify People, our hiring business, was also there. It was a great conference. And so the question for you is you are holding a conference. So, drum roll, please. That's the big news is so you have a conference coming up and that conference is next month. It's going to be, I'm actually going to pull it up now. I'm going to pull up the webpage. And so this is here, I'll reload the page. So this is Light It Up Expo, February 28th through March 1st. And there you are on the webpage. Looks like people click on that, they'll hear you talk about the value prop. Talk to us about this conference and why folks that are potentially watching or listening to this should consider heading over to Orlando at the end of February in order to attend your conference, and what is different. Maybe they went to Lightapalooza. And so what would they gain by attending your conference?
Yeah. And yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't make the dates work for Lightapalooza this year. I'll definitely be there next. I went there maybe the last
Couple
couple
of
of years.
years, I think.
Great event. I mean, well, anyone who's been there knows that it's an epic event. This is different. Light It Up Expo is really designed. It's specifically only exterior lighting. So we don't have any interior, which I think Lightapalooza is real heavy on the interior, the lighting, the controls,
Yeah,
all
for
that stuff.
sure.
This is exclusively landscape lighting, holiday lighting, and permanent lighting, which is like the color changing uh roof line type style stuff that's just catching on like wildfire. A lot of people love that stuff. So what we're doing is we're bringing all these three industries together. So if you want to bolt on landscape lighting to your business and you're like, yeah, I mean, it sounds cool. I've heard of it. I've even had clients ask me, but I don't know how to design it. I don't know how to install it. How would I even price it? That's why you'd want to come to Light It Up Expo. We have an entire breakout just to answer all those questions. It's a hands-on, so we'll have fixtures there, transformer wire. We'll show you how to like do everything. Um, the hardest part is not learning how to install it. The design is a little bit tricky, but we'll go over that stuff. And then really is like, how do I do this in a way that's profitable for my company? So we're going to teach you those pricing strategies that we teach, the sales process, how to get the high quality leads. So that's what's different about it. And if you already know landscape lighting, but you just want to level up your business, maybe you've already done a couple jobs, this is the place to be. And then same thing for holiday lighting. There's a breakout on holiday lighting. There's a breakout on permanent lighting. So we're going to have speakers. We're going to have our vendor hall, which is going to be amazing. Just so much opportunity to network. And almost like we were talking about earlier with our community, as proud as I am about like the content portal and the stuff that we put out, the magic happens with like the hallway discussion. So Light Up Expo is going to be amazing. Our speaker lineup, our training, phenomenal. But what's going to happen is you're going to run into Ron and talk. You might not even be talking about marketing. You might be talking about something else that's going to inspire some idea and change the trajectory of your life or your business. That's where the magic happens at these shows.
Where would we see the full lineup of speakers, or when is that planned to be released? And then the same for manufacturers or vendors that are going to be there.
So we do have a page. I'll probably have to send it to you in the link for the
Yeah, we
vendors.
can add it to the show
Yeah.
notes as well. But
We have a
there's a
page.
link with all of those details.
Yeah. Well, when you say all of those details,
Most of those details, some of those details.
yes, all the vendors, yes. I am notorious for changing things. So like we had a whole lineup. Okay, Ron, we had like here's the agenda, here's the speakers, and then all of a sudden I had another idea. And then I talked to a friend and now we're like we got more breakouts, we got more speakers. It keeps growing. It's evolving. So
Okay.
I we have almost what you're asking for.
All right. Well, so you will provide that to my team. We'll get that dropped
Yes.
onto the page. This show, here, I'm going to pull this off the screen. Let me do that. And then I'll bring you and I here.
I'll give you a highlight though. Just a highlight reel.
Please give me a highlight.
We have a marketing panel, which One Firefly is part of. So it's not just One Firefly, it's a panel. So you're going to get different answers. You're going to get, different suggestions, things like
Different
that.
perspective. No, we're
Yep.
always big fans of lots of voices.
We have Dan Plata, who is he's one of our coaches, but this guy is super smart financial nerd. So he makes it fun though. Like he's drinking a beer as he's talking about like bookkeeping and stuff like that. He relates to everybody, as opposed to just some old dude that's just talking about P&Ls and stuff like that. So he's awesome. We've got Josh Latimer, who was a coach of mine that I paid. I mean, I paid him 50 grand last year just to be my coach. Super smart marketing guy. And then Bennett Grove, this guy started another industry. He started the largest privately owned junk removal business, and then had a huge exit. He's going to talk to us about how to build your business for exit. And some people are like, "Well, I don't want to." Well, he's going to talk about why you should care about that. And I'm always like, build your business like you're going to sell it, and then don't sell it because
I'll reverse that. I'll say I like to build my business so that it's the business I would love to keep and that someone else would love to buy.
nice. I like it.
So it's just, build a
You get
great
to choose.
business.
Yeah.
Build a great business.
So anyone who's been around me knows it's not just about like the technical, like here's a light bulb, here's a fixture, like transform. Like we're all about growing your business. And my mission is to help people build a business that works without you. So It's all about time freedom. It's all about building impact and legacy. So every speaker, no matter what the topic, finance, sales, marketing, is going to be really focused on this message of like why we're doing this so that we can build something bigger than us. We're going to have a breakout on building your team. So like this lone wolf strategy that I came up with years ago, why it sucks, and like how do you build culture? And people say, well, I can't find good people. We're going to have a breakout on that. So everything is this is like a business conference disguised as a lighting conference.
I love it. Now, is there also manufacturers? Is there a trade show component to it, or is it mostly classroom?
Yes, absolutely. And what's cool about the trade show, it's manufacturers, vendors, One Firefly is going to be there, is because we're doing a couple things. Number one, that's where lunch will be served. So like no matter what, there's going to be some interaction there. We also have every Thursday and Friday nights cash bar from 5 to 7 in the vendor hall. So I think that's such a crucial aspect. I used to do these landscape lighting live trainings where we just teach people landscape lighting, but we didn't have the vendor component, and that's why we switched to Light It Up Expo. Is like we really need that interactivity. I can tell someone like, here's the steps to change your business, but if you're not partnered with a good manufacturer, if you're not partnered with a good marketing company, your results just aren't going to be the same. Like it's just science at this point. You know, if you go, you can go get a marketing company for 500 a month and one for, you can spend as little as much as you want, but it's important for me to bring in good partners so that people know like, hey, we've we've talked to these people. We have clients that use them. Like you can trust them. Your money's going to be an investment with them.
That makes sense. What does it cost to go to the show?
So right now, and I'm one that will raise the price. Okay, I will do that, guys. But right now it's 549. It's only $549 to get a ticket. You get lunch included every day,
Wow.
and you get access to the vendor hall. You get all the speakers. You get all the stuff. We do have a promo code too that's going around that if you guys want to use, that'll save
What
you a
is
hundred
that?
bucks.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes as well.
It's lit 100, LIT 100. That'll save you $100. If you want to donate more to, Light It Up Expo and you don't like saving money, then don't use it and it's just 549.
Beautiful. And location of the conference.
Oh, I forgot almost the most important part. Orlando, Florida. So, I'm in Utah. We just got like 4 inches of snow and I'm like, this is fun. Like we went skiing, but I'm also just thinking of like how cool it's going to be in Orlando next month. February 28th, March 1st. Make it a workcation, guys. Like bring your family. It's literally at the entrance of Universal Studios. So write the trip off, bring your family, bring your kids, have some fun. It's okay to have fun too. I know a lot of us get addicted to work, but let your guard down every once in a while.
Are you gonna bring your family? Are you gonna go early or stay late, or have you figured out those logistics yet?
The plan was yes. Like I literally was like, let's do Orlando because then it's a workcation. I got 4 kids. And that's the problem because we had committed. I got Lindsay. I'm like, so we're going, right? Like these are the dates. Yep, yep, everything's in. Come to find out, one has cheerleading and one has dance. Literally the same time. I'm like, but
Is
we
that whole
agreed.
life thing getting in the way?
I know. I'm like, no, we agreed that this wasn't going to get in the way, and it's in the way. So no, I'm telling everyone to do it. I'm probably going to go join your family or whoever brings their
There you go.
family.
Yeah. Hang out with my family. Let's go.
Somebody, if you have an extra ticket,
Adopt a Ryan Lee.
yes.
Love it. All right. What's the final recommendation, or not recommendation, but argument for someone listening? They are really focused on growing their business in 2025, and you see landscape lighting as a category where they could do that. And what I'm going to propose is there's two vectors. They want to add it as a category and they want to learn how to get into that business, or they want to learn how to get into that business, but they want to do it through collaboration or partnership with other partners. Are they going to get that from this conference?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the whole reason we're doing this. So if you want to grow your business, there's lots of different ways to do it. But kind of the main way is like, let's say you already have something that you built and is repeatable. Like you could just copy and paste that and go, you know what, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna do it in Orlando. because I'm going to be there for the expo anyway. So I'll just start another business there. And that's fine. You guys should explore that. But I would propose almost an easier way to grow your business rather than having to go to a whole new market and have to start building the brand there. You already have a brand, you already have a client relationship, you have that trust. You can just offer them something new, your existing client something new. And that's what landscape lighting opportunity is. And if you don't want to design, you don't want to install, you don't want to deal with the headache, that's fine. We have someone. We will connect you with someone at this expo to be your partner in your area. And you guys might go, well, I don't want to give them all the profit. You won't. Like they will do a profit sharing model with you. And if you decide 5 jobs later that actually you do want to take on that design and install, that's fine. Like all of our people, we're all about collaboration at the top, competition at the bottom, collaboration happens at the top. So you could potentially get paid to get trained on how to do lighting. And we're not gonna be able to do all of that in 2 days, but it's gonna be the start of something special for you for sure.
Outside of this conference, Ryan, do you take on businesses outside of landscape lighting companies or pure landscape lighting companies into your landscape lighting secrets community?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and at first when I launched, I didn't even know that that would be a thing. It was just like, I'll
Sure.
help existing lighting businesses, but we've had so many people saying, "Hey, I'm a holiday lighting business. I'm an integrator, whatever it is, a landscaper. I want to bolt this on. What do I do?" So we built all the training for that. So we have online training for how to learn design, how to learn install, and then of course all the business stuff that comes along with it. So we're really trying to position this as like a business in a box. And I don't want to like false advertise. Like we're not perfect. We're always making improvements, but we're
Yeah.
pretty dang close. Like this is like a franchise without a franchise fee. If I help you make $1 million as a franchise, I'm going to take 8%. I'm going to take my 80 grand. We are a fraction of that. I mean,
Yeah.
we're the next best thing without the franchise fee.
I love it. Well, we're dropping this show here on January 29th. So everyone has a good solid month in advance to ultimately get their flights, get their hotels, show up, hang out with One Firefly, hang out with Ryan. I'm assuming, Ryan, some of the classes you're teaching yourself, or are you the MC and you're moving around the show, or are you going to be on stage doing some education directly?
I am. Dude, I'm addicted to this stuff. I love it. I get fired up. Anyone who's ever seen me speak, it's my calling. I freaking love it. So I'm gonna do I'm gonna do that. I'm also helping teach the landscape lighting breakout. So
Okay.
I've got a client of mine who's been in my program for several years. He and I are gonna tag team that. So I'm just telling you guys, the worst case that would happen to this, like if you're like, I don't know, I have had some clients ask me about landscape lighting. If the worst case you came to this and you decided you didn't want to do this, at least you would know 5 years from now that you already explored it. You decided you didn't want to do it. You don't have the regret of knowing, like, should I have done that? That's how I view things. I'm like, worst case, you're going to make a decision that you don't want to do this. It's worth the 549 to find out.
I love it. Well, we're gonna call it there, Ryan. I'm gonna put back up on the screen just for anybody that's watching this, lightitupexpo.com. There also is there an email address? I see an email here, although I want to get your approval. Is there an email as well as anyone wants to reach out and contact you guys, you and your team?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you have questions, one, you can email us. So it's support@ryanleecoaching.com. Support@ryanleecoaching.com.
You said you
Uh,
didn't like the word coaching. It's in your email address.
I know. Well, that was me 5 years ago.
We got
I've
to get you
evolved.
updated, right?
I know.
I like it, by the way, but I don't see anything wrong with the name.
I know. I'm weird. Uh, but yeah, I've evolved. That was me 5 years ago. Now I'm gonna have to update that. But
Now
yeah,
you're gonna now I pointed it out. Now you're not gonna not be able to see that.
yeah.
Support at by the way, for those that are actually trying to pay attention, support at ryanleecoaching.com.
Is, is anyone paying attention? I don't know.
I don't know.
Um,
I think they are. I think they are. Ryan, thank you, my man. Thanks for jumping in here. Thanks for having One Firefly. My team, we are excited to be at your conference, to support the conference. Obviously hoping to meet some new faces, but also ideally we'll see a lot of familiar faces. If you're out there on the interwebs and you're watching or listening, come hang out with us at Ryan's conference, meet some new people, learn some new things. And, as my friend Keith from HTSA would say, what's the best that could happen? And you make some
I
new
like
friends.
that. Yeah,
So
I like that.
love it. Ryan, thanks for jumping on, man. And we're gonna see you in a few weeks.
Heck yeah, excited. Thanks for having me on. We'll see you in Orlando.
All right, buddy.